Connecting life and faith. This is Connections.
I gained 4 pounds over the Christmas holiday season. The really bad news is that combined with the 3 pounds that are still hanging around from last Christmas and the 8 pounds of the great Christmas of 2014 that haven't gone anywhere, I'm not exactly in optimal condition right now.
And I don't think you're alone, but
Okay,
the good news is we're only 2 weeks into the new year, and there's a lot of time to turn things around and start some smart and healthy habits for 2019. Mike Reed is a fitness trainer in Alberta, and today he'll tell us about how to get in shape physically as well as spiritually, and also he'll give us lessons he's learned on his own journey. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the fitness world?
Well, I'll tell you, if you would have told me back in the first part of 2013 that I would be working out, let alone operating a fitness facility, I would have told you you're crazy.
How come?
Well, I was working in the oil field back in those days, and although my work was somewhat physical, a lack of proper sleep and poor diet led to a situation where I was probably my heaviest in my life and kind of just, I don't know, stumbling around through life. And then I transferred and switched positions where I wasn't going to do hardly any physical labor. And at the same time, I had gone through a personal development seminar called Choices, and which is coincidentally about the same time when I kind of started my faith journey. Go figure. And towards the end of the year, I realized if I don't do something, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. My health was kind of not good. You know, I was pre-diabetic. There was all these high cholesterol, all those things. And I had some friends that I knew from Choices that kind of one owned a CrossFit gym, one worked at a CrossFit gym, and I'm like, wow, they're really in shape, so I should try this. So I found a CrossFit gym, and I walked in there, and they said, do you want a free trial? And I said, no, you should probably make me sign some right now or you'll never see me again. So I signed up and I started going, and pretty soon I was going 6 days a week, and pretty soon I was fixing my nutrition, and pretty soon I was in pretty good shape. And then I kind of had it figured out, and pretty soon I was inadvertently coaching other people, and then pretty soon they were asking me to help them coach when the class was full, and then I was like, well, I might as well get certified, so I did that, and then then I started coaching for them. That was CrossFit Leduc in Leduc, Alberta. So I started coaching for them. And then in 2015, one of our coaches moved to Red Deer and started going to the gym I have now and said, you should come down here. There is a guy here, a young coach that is an awesome Olympic lifter, and he could really help you. So every second Friday, I drove to Red Deer for an hour session with Tom, who's my head coach, coincidentally. And one day the owner said, hey, we want out of this, and this is how much we want. And I was like, I might be able to do that. I don't know. And it took me about 10 months to get it figured out. But here I am.
Wow, that's an incredible story.
Yeah. And at about the same time as I bought the gym is when I really gave myself to God. That's another interesting story. I was driving from Edmonton to Fort St. John, British Columbia, northern BC, and where we go was about an 8 to 10 hour drive to get up there. So I'm driving down the road and kind of in a funk, and I needed something to listen to on the radio, so I'd often listen to some self-help stuff or something. And a few months before, I had listened to a broadcast of a pastor preaching, and I was like, wow, this is a good message, but it's pretty gaudy.
There's a lot of God in this preaching.
Yeah, go figure. Hey? And for some reason, well, I know why, because he said you should save that preset. So I saved it on my presets. And then now fast forward a while, a few months later, or however long it was, I'm driving down the road and I needed something, and I was flipping through the presets, and I hit that preset, and I listened to that all the way to my job site. Then I did my job. It took me like 2 days to get the job done, and I drove home, and it was on, and I listened to it all the way home. And about 3/4 of the way home, I just heard God say, hey, what are you waiting for? All you have to do is decide to believe. And so right there, driving down the road at 120 kilometers an hour, I was like, okay, God, you have me. I give myself to you. Let's do this thing. So
What I think is cool now is in your About Us section on your website, it says that you are dedicated to building a strong, healthy, and happy as well as faith-filled community. What is that connection then between faith and fitness?
Well, I see huge connection between that, and that was intentional. My head coach, Tom, he's Catholic, and we have a lot of discussions about faith and Jesus and God and stuff like that, and we kind of made a decision that that's kind of how we wanted things to go. And I think when you look at fitness, well, first of all, let's look at it this way. If you're going to glorify God, God has given you this body to walk this earth in, and you should probably take care of it. Right?
Yeah.
So if you really want to glorify God, let's take care of the body He's given us. And also, how do you do your best for God when your body isn't operating to its full potential?
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So for those who are looking to finally get themselves to that place, to take care of themselves, what are some tips that you have for those people?
Well, the idea is to start. One of the biggest problems to, I think, getting started in fitness is that we tend to be this way. You know what? I'm just going to get through this week or this month or this thing, and then I'll start.
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me. Yeah.
Yeah. When you do that, you're giving yourself permission to push it off. And then it's real easy to go, well, one more week. Well, one more week. Well, one more week. And that's not how it works. You need to start tomorrow. And that may be, I tell people a lot of times now, get up in the morning, and if all you did for 30 days was did 30 burpees a day, that's probably more than you're doing right now.
I often think, well, music's playing here and we're not talking on the air. I'm like, I should probably just do 10 push-ups in the studio at least, right? And then I put it, but you're saying that's a great way to start.
For sure it is. Often I'll be like feeling like I'm not getting my workouts in enough because I'm pretty busy. I work in a gym and I work
Too
out.
busy to work out.
But I will be brushing my teeth, and I can get about 70 or so squats in in 2 minutes while I'm brushing my teeth.
Genius.
Right? So I did a challenge with my daughter's hockey team because I was seeing an issue with conditioning, like where they were losing it in the third period. They didn't have any gas left. So I was like, all right, girls, this is what we're going to do. 30 burpees for 30 days. And then my business networking group, I just did it with my hockey team, so you guys are going to do the same thing. And the difference in people who actually did it at the end of the 30 days was amazing.
I see a lot of connections between the physical exercise and spiritual exercise too, right? It's the same time taking time to read your Bible and do your devotions and spend time with God. The difference you see over the course of that 30 days is phenomenal.
Well, of course, for sure, right? And it's the same thing, right? People say, well, I don't have time to read my Bible or I don't have time to work out. That is not true. You haven't prioritized time to do that. There is time, because how long did you spend reading Facebook today before bed or in the morning?
Yeah.
Like, how long did you watch TV? Like, could have you taken 20 minutes out of that? And like, the 30 burpees is an easy start, because honestly, that's under 5 minutes. Well, I shouldn't say that. Depending on where your fitness level is, it could be 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know. Or you might break it up and do 10 now and do 10 later and 10 later, whatever. I don't know how that would work for everybody, but it is definitely doable. And what I find with fitness, if you start and you're like, oh, I can do that. Well, if I can do that, I probably can do some more. Then you can kind of push it forward from there.
I think a lot of people can relate to your origin story, right? Like getting busy with work, or maybe it's with kids. You've got kids and too busy, but it's more so just about changing your mindset then.
For sure, yes.
Taking advantage of what you can.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be a huge hour-long workout. I mean, in our CrossFit classes, like, it's an hour class, but we do warming up and we do stretching, mobility, and help people where they have some, tightness and maybe some flexibility issues. Then we do a strength portion where we're trying to build some muscle. But our actual, like, Metcon workout, sometimes that can only be 8 minutes. So if I'm strapped for time, I'll just walk out there and I'll spend 10, 15 minutes and get a really hard, really intense workout in, and then go back to work. Like, it can be done. I mean, ideally you want to do the whole thing, but I mean, if that's all you have, make it work.
And how do we get ourselves to start and to make those realistic goals?
Well, that's the biggest problem, isn't it? A lot of it has to do. I always say that a lot of fitness, like probably 80% of fitness, is really mental. So we have these mind blocks that say you can't do certain things or you don't have time to do certain things. But what I really like is, I don't know if you guys have heard the book, The 5-Second Rule. And basically the premise behind that is that you have, when an idea comes upon you, you have about 5 seconds to make a decision or your brain's just going to kick it away. So when the idea comes upon you, like, I should do some burpees right now. You have 5 seconds. So the 5-second rule says is what you do is you start at 5 and it's a countdown like you're launching a rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And your brain goes, well, we got the 1, we have to do something.
And have you started implementing that yourself in your own life?
I do.
I like that, the 5-second rule.
For sure. And, you ever have, when you wake up in the morning, you just feel like you need to hit the snooze button and not get out of bed?
Yeah.
Every morning.
We know that well at 3:30 in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, so, I bet, because you guys are probably up early working, right? So,
yeah.
It works really great for that. You wake up and you're going to hit the snooze button. You just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get up.
Get up. And what a great way to start your day, by doing something very first thing.
That would work really
it's
well.
Awesome.
That would work really. Yeah.
So I was going to say, the 5-second rule. It's written by Mel Robbins, and that's what happened to her. She was in a really bad slump in her life, and she saw a rocket ship on a commercial the night before, and she got up the next morning. She's like, well, I just got to get out of bed, just like a rocket ship. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now she's built this whole thing around it, and it's genius, really. So
I love
it
that.
Works in all areas of your life.
I love that when it comes to being a mom. I personally used to be super fit. Then I had 2 kids. And now I have this thing called mom guilt. So even if I take that 10 minutes, that 5 minutes to work out, I feel like, hey, that's 10.
That's something you've done.
That's 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes or 5 minutes I've taken away from my kids.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Gotcha.
But
so
this 5-second rule
Uh-huh.
would work well.
Yeah. And when you look at that right there, so, okay, you are going to take 5 or 10 minutes away from what you're saying is looking after your kids. The problem is, if you don't take care of yourself first, how can you take care of other people, namely your kids?
It's kind of like in the plane when they tell you when the oxygen masks drop, take care of yourself, put your mask on first, and then you can help.
Exactly. Because if you're run down, stressed out, worried, and freaking out about everything, that's probably not a good impression on your children, right? And that's why, like, we have a mom's class, too, and we allow kids in the gym. We don't do babysitting, but they can bring their kids, and we have, like, a communal mom's class. So it's not real structured, which is frustrating as a coach. But kids are in the gym. They have an area where they can play. They know where they can't come on the floor when workouts are going on. And it's just built because we know that moms need to have some time for themselves and do something for themselves, because moms typically don't do anything for themselves. And I don't know if that's real healthy either.
It's a great way, though, to show them the positivity behind getting involved in physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any other tips on involving our kids maybe in staying healthy and fit?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's funny when you bring your kids around. I love when we have kids in the gym, because I have lots of Ignite Fit kids, I call them, and they just think working out is normal. Right? Like,
awesome.
It's not a big deal to them because they see it. So as a mom, if you get down on the floor and you do 10 burpees and your kids are climbing on you hold a plank and your kid, climbing on your back or whatever, they're like, pretty soon they're going to be saying, hey, Mom, let's do a workout. Hey, Mom, let's do a workout, because they think it's fun. Because it is, because they like physical activity, right?
Yeah, kids love physical activity.
Like, bring your kids in and say, hey, let's do a little workout. My daughter last night, we started dryland training for their hockey team last week, again, because of conditioning, and I did some Tabatas with them, which I don't know if you know what a Tabata is, but one Tabata is a 4 minutes, and it's 30 seconds of doing some work or movement, and then 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So I had 4 movements I made them do. Well, I come home last night, and my I came home late, and my daughter and my wife come out of the living room, and my wife's just out of breath and dying, and she's like, she made me do those tabatas. So my 12-year-old is like, Mom, come on, we're working out, like, and if they think that's normal and mommy's working out, because what mommy is the queen, she's everything, right? So if mommy's working out, they're going to want to work out too. And what a great value to instill in them at a young age. It's kind of the same with faith, right? Like if you show your children faith at a young age, they're going to be faithful.
Mike, thanks so much for sharing those tips with us today.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. If you missed any of it or you want to hear it again, you can just check out the Connections page at the website.